So, what are you talking about, a maneuver, Tom? Just a maneuver?
Well, I never expected to have Travis's confession thrown out as evidence. Then the DA is using all this pre-trial publicity to get himself elected in June.
Yeah, it goes on all the time. I mean, you know what politicians are like, right?
Believe me, after Washington, I know. And so does the judge. But it helps to have it pointed out in court.
Yeah, well, what I liked even better was your suggestion that there was collusion between the DA's office and the police.
It exists. Believe me. There's got to be a reason why the police didn't follow up after that confession was repudiated.
Exactly. I mean, if we could prove that, Breimer's whole case wouldn't be worth a plug nickel.
That's one of the things I'm working towards.
All right, what's the next step?
We'll run down leads, and more leads. I've got a list in every pocket. And you, my friend, you've got the longest list.
How'd I know he was going to say that?
As far as you and I think that...
This is Search for Tomorrow.
If one of these days you're up against it with a piece of human garbage who's got a blade up against your ribcage, who do you think it's going to be who puts his life down on the line for you, huh? One of your fancy friends or another cop?
Probably my partner.
Well, you have to understand that in this business, we are all partners. Every cop owes something to every other cop. We are all sticking together here.
Well, yes, sir, I understand that.
Oh, sure you do. That's why you've been out making dinner dates with the defense attorney on the Centel murder case, because you're so loyal to the department.
I didn't make a date with the guy, Lieutenant. Look, I was eating dinner with my wife in a restaurant. Tom Bergman walked in, and he asked me what I knew about the case, and he's a friend, so I didn't think it would...
Leave it! Another pal of yours? And then you decided that you could shoot your mouth off about sloppy police work? You had better start realizing who your real friends are, Emerson. That's all I have to say.
Wait a minute, you're making it sound like
I didn't like it, Emerson. And neither did the DA. He saw you talking to that Bergman guy. And after the rough time he had in court this morning, it was real easy to guess what you had told your friend. Well, if we can't trust you to keep police business just that, police business, then maybe we have to put you someplace where you can't hurt us. Someplace where you don't have so many of your old friends around to talk to. As of today, you are off this case. Both of you.
Wait a minute, Colt, he didn't even say
it, Emerson. The two of you are moving to Vice. And that's the end of it.
Vice?
That's right, Colton. So you better pray that this partner of yours here isn't too chummy with Henderson's pimps and pushers, or the two of you are going to be fresh out of a job, period. Now, can we count on that, Emerson? Huh? Yeah. Or do you have connections in the underworld, too?
No.
Good. Now, maybe you can do your job for once. Now, Lieutenant Shamsky is expecting you over at Vice, so you better get going.
Right.
Well, Colton, if you're not too crazy about being lumped in here with Hotshot, why don't you put in a request for a transfer once you get to know Shamsky? I'm sure he'll understand if you want to switch partners. Just have him give me a call. I'll be delighted to speak on your behalf.
Yeah, that's okay, thanks.
Yeah, well, think about it.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, what is it now?
You know, I just got to say it one more time, Lieutenant. You got the wrong man. Travis Centel didn't do it.
Emerson, you have made your feelings very clear. And look where it got you. Get out of here.
Well, hey, you really look much better, Professor. A lot better than a couple days ago, I'll tell you that.
Hello, Dane.
This little lady just 3 or 4 days ago was flat on her back, and you could barely hear a word she said. Croaked out everything. Kind of sounded like Edward G. Robinson.
We're all, worried about you, Aja. I'm glad you weren't hurt too seriously.
Thank you. Actually, you know what? Other than this, I'm almost back to normal. Lucky, I guess.
You certainly should say so, from what I heard about the accident. It's good to see you again, Professor Doyen.
Thank you. You, must be working on the case.
On the defense. We were just, discussing some tactics.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Travis, I'm sorry. Look, the reason I came was to offer my assistance. I know that you have absolutely no reason to believe anything I say, but I do want to help. There must be something that I can do.
That's very kind.
Look, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I've nothing to offer. That's it, isn't it? But I'm an expert in computer programming, Mr. Bergman. Now, you just think how valuable it would be to have all of your evidence in a computer.
Certainly an option to consider.
Consider. Everyone in this room knows that Travis did not kill his father. Now, the police have stopped looking for the man who did do it. That leaves it up to us. A computer would minimize our work. It would be the fastest, most succinct way to put it all together. I mean, don't you see? We could cross-reference everything. Don't you see what
She's got a very good point. You know, when I was at the agency, we couldn't get anywhere without a computer. I mean, you can't solve a crime today without one, right? Especially if you want it to go fast.
So what do you say, Counselor? Please.
I think it's a good idea, Travis. What do you think?
Aja, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Liza would be upset by my accepting your help, and to tell you the truth, I don't know how I feel about it.
I can understand that. You know, if it makes any difference, you might consider the fact that I could keep myself out of sight as much as possible. I mean, I'd be using the computers here at TI, but I wouldn't be working with you directly. I mean, we wouldn't have to have any contact at all.
She could be working with me, Travis.
Yes. Thank you. And I would do everything in my power to stay out of your way. Anyway, it would only be until the end of May. I have to do something, Travis. Anything.
Been trying to get the fire out of me. Ooh, I had my doctor worried till someone said to me, I get on your feet, get dancing. It's the only remedy for my body. My body dancing on there. My body, your body, his body, everybody. My body, oh, dancing on there. My body, oh, my body, dancing on there. My body down.
Sounds fine, babe. How's it feel to you?
It feels good, but it seems like the track is like drowning me out a little bit. I just had to push just a little bit.
It's beautiful, baby. Trust me.
Okay.
Sweetie, that was wonderful. Listen, I have an appointment with the PR people, so I really have to leave now. But I will see you tonight.
Okay.
Bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, Stephanie. What can I tell you? It was wonderful. The song was just wonderful.
And so are you. You always say the perfect thing.
Oh, he means it. Me too. I can't believe I'm standing here watching Stephanie Mills, like, live and in person.
Oh, well, the song still needs a little bit of work, but I think we're getting there.
Oh, no, come on, honey. You were terrific, really. I've never heard a sound like that.
Thank you.
Stephanie, I want you to meet Brian Emerson, my husband,
How do you do?
and his partner, John Colton. They're both police
how are you?
officers on the force here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you both. Hey, I don't have to salute or anything, do I?
No, ma'am. We're here in a strictly unofficial capacity.
We're just a couple of fans like everybody else.
Yeah, well, I've got news for you, couple of fans. Miss Mills here is going to be singing here tomorrow night.
Yeah?
So maybe you can make the show, huh?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That sounds
We
terrific.
really love it.
And I'm looking forward to that myself, but I have a couple of things I have to run over, so will you guys excuse me for a
Yeah,
minute?
sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Don't mind us.
Haley?
Well, how about some coffee, you guys, huh?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sit down.
Yeah.
Come on, you guys. All right. What's going on? The two of you look like the world just ended. What's the matter?
We got transferred to Vice, and it was all my fault.
What do you mean? You're not going to work on murders anymore?
Nope. From now on, it's strictly the cream of society for your man and me. Narcotics, prostitution, we're going to be rubbing elbows with all the best people.
I'm sorry, Colt. And like Bowman said, you're probably cursing the day that you got lumped with me. Bowman had us transferred because he didn't like me talking to Tom Bergman about some of the fishy stuff that's been going on between the department and the DA's office.
Well, that's too bad. I mean, it's true, right? So, look, if Bowman doesn't like the truth, then you don't want to work for him anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether I want to work Vice either. And I know it's not what Colt had in mind.
Hey, look, you can stop beating up on yourself, okay, Emerson? I'm not looking to get myself a new partner. We started together and we'll finish together.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that.
Thanks, man. I just wish there was some way I could show old Bowman how far off base he is. You know what? Maybe there still is. Hey, Stu?
Yep.
Can I use your phone?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. Here we are. Why don't you two sit down? It's a nice restaurant.
Travis Intel.
Travis, this is Brian Emerson. Is Tom Bergman there, please?
Hi, Brian. Sure, hang on. Brian Emerson, to you.
Thanks.
Brian, what's happening?
Tom, Bowman had me transferred to Vice. Isn't that sweet? I'm off the Centel murder. Anyway, the reason why I'm calling is I want you to know I still want to help you.
Really? Are you serious?
I mean it. Whatever way I can help you. My free time is my own, Tom.
That's great. Thanks, Brian, because we just received some notes from the prosecution. Perhaps you and this Professor Doyen could go over them together over at TI. Could you do that?
Sure. Professor Doyen, you said?
Right. She's the professor that will be setting up this computer program where we'll be able to classify and store all the data we receive in terms of the case. I'm going to find the man who killed Rusty Centel, Brian. I guarantee it.
Well, then I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can. You just let me know when.
Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So long, Tom.
So long.
Colt, you still on this planet or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are you staring at?
You know, it's funny. I was just about to ask you the same thing a few seconds ago. Why don't you go and talk to the lady?
You think you got me all figured out, don't you? Drink up, detective. I'm not interested in Miss Stephanie Mills.
Yes. Bergman? All right. Send him in.
Did I catch you at a bad time, Counselor?
Sit down, Mr. Bergman. I thought after all your fireworks with the judge this morning, you might be taking a little nap.
No, I'm quite awake.
So I see. That was some performance, Counselor.
It wasn't a performance. I meant every word of it. I think the way that you're handling this case stinks.
But you've come to do a little business with me anyway. I have to tell you, I didn't think it'd be quite this soon, though, this bargaining session.
What?
Look, let's do both of us a favor. Let's skip the preliminaries where you pretend that's not why you're here. We both have cards to put on the table, so let's get to it. I want to tell you up front. Manslaughter is as far as I'm prepared to go. Not involuntary manslaughter either. Just manslaughter. That's it.
Cards on the table?
That's right. I'm a busy man.
I'm not here to make a deal, Brimer. I'm here to talk another angle.
What's that?
I want the police to do a polygraph on my client.
We already have the truth as far as I'm concerned. A lie detector test would be a complete waste.
You don't care whether we find out what really happened or not, do you? The only thing you care about is winning this trial and the primary in June.
Were you always so self-righteous, or did the big city do that to you? There's nothing worse than a Washington lawyer. Remember a little thing called Watergate a few years back? All lawyers, all crooks, and all as self-righteous as you are right now.
Okay, fine.
If you won't go along with me on the polygraph, I'll do it myself.
Go ahead. It's not admissible in court, and you know it. Especially when those things are given privately. There's no way of telling how badly those things have been doctored up in those conditions.
Then let the police do it. Come on, Breimer. If your case is as strong as you say it is, it can't hurt you.
But I don't need it. So I don't have to agree to it. Simple as that. Look, Bergman, if you'll force yourself to be pragmatic for a minute, you'll realize that I made you a very good offer. Manslaughter, if your client pleads guilty. That's a big reduction.
Sure. And the voters can see how fast you get a hardened criminal like Travis Centel behind bars. Well, you can forget about it, Breimer. An innocent man is not going to plead guilty just to get you elected.
Suit yourself, then. But you'll be sorry.
No, you're the one who's going to be sorry. If you lose this case, and the people discover that you wouldn't even consider a polygraph, even for fairness' sake, well, your constituency might have second thoughts. Third thoughts, even. As a matter of fact, they might throw the weight of their support to the opposition come Election Day.
You're working with an awful lot of ifs, aren't you, my friend?
Maybe less than you think.
I tried to tell you once so inadequately how sorry. But there are no words and there never will be. Why did I let it go that far?
I didn't know anybody'd be here.
I was just leaving.
Don't let me interrupt. I just need to get Travis's appointment book.
Oh, yes, it's right here.
Thank you. I'm going to draw up a list of the people who may have seen him within the last couple of months. Anybody that might have had a possible connection with Rusty.
That's a good idea.
I thought so, too. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'll catch you later.
Look, I told you didn't interrupt. I was on my way out myself. Just have to finish this note to Travis. I was cleaning out my desk and didn't want to misplace anything, explaining what I've left. Well, I will see you around, I'm sure.
Aja, you have every right to be upset.
I'm not upset.
You're not?
No?
Of course you are. Who wouldn't be? After doing what you just did, you came in here. After all that's come down, you made a public apology and a genuine offer to help.
Dane, I am all right, and I don't want your sympathy.
I'm not offering you any sympathy, Professor. I'm trying to tell you I admire you for what you did. It took guts. All right? You have the right to feel a little, emotional about it.
Emotion is a waste of time at this point for me, don't you think, Dane? Oh, come on, didn't you see Travis's face when I made that offer? Didn't change expression. It was like he'd never known me.
What do you want him to do? Throw his arms around you?
I don't know. I mean,
It's a little tough for him right now, especially where Liza's concerned.
Why, what's wrong with Liza now? Come on, Dane. She has Travis. He loves her. What more could she possibly want?
Aja, it's not that simple. Rusty Sr. pulled the strings, sure. But it's Travis that was hurt, especially where Liza's concerned. See, he lost his trust for her. And it's not going to take her a short amount of time to forgive that. All right? Besides, she's in what used to be called delicate condition. I don't know if you knew that.
You mean that she's pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know. Anyway, you don't need to worry. I didn't come back to cause trouble for either her or Travis. I will stay in my room and no one will ever see me.
I'll see you, I hope. Come on, Professor. When are you going to admit that you like having me around to bug you just a little bit, huh? We have one of those unique sorts of friendships where we're destined to keep each other on our toes for the rest of our lives. It's like a good game of chess.
Except that I'm not here for the entertainment. I'm here for one reason and one reason alone, and that is to make sure that Travis does not pay for a crime that he did not commit. Now, that is not going to leave much time for friendships. In fact, that phase of my life is over with.
What phase?
The part where I experiment with friendships, emotion, Love. I'm a scientist, Dane. And as such, I accept the inevitable fact that some experiments are failures. That just happened to be one of them.